All right, today we are making a rocker here. I'm always looking for the one thing that I never seem to have. But the first thing we need is this. We're going to be making a standard rocker. I'm going to cut this just a tad short on this side on purpose, and that's going to give us a nice solid end here. All right. That's already gone. So we're going to be starting with a 11-inch rocker here. You know what? We're going to do 10.5 today. The reason we're going to do 10.5 is because it's going to pull our end down just a little bit, and it's going to give us a little bit more tightness with our rocker. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 10.5. Measure approximately halfway here. Almost. There we go. Nice clean rocker we've got going on there. I'm going to start with our next spot. We'll pull this over. It's going to be a little bit shorter, but it's going to give it some nice, a nice hold to it. There we go. I'm trying to keep everything in frame for you here so you can see what I'm doing. Get right to that edge. This is going to be one of our quicker builds, but it's going to look great. So we're going to start with good old-fashioned mink oil. This protects the back. If you've been watching for any length of time, I've talked quite a bit about all the different oils and things that I use in the shop here. I call it a shop, but it's my singular desk / workbench that I have adjacent to my kitchen, and that's okay. Call it a shop because that's what it feels like. This is where everything happens, all the work happens. I don't go anywhere else or do anything else. Everything you would see me buy, sell, trade is built right here. So it's pretty fun. Look at that. All right. Nice and solid there. It's looking good. We're going to do a darker lantern oak today. It's going to be pretty nice. Okay, so the first thing we're going to start with is our antique finish. So as you'll notice, we're going to really get in it here. All right, so we're just pulling it all the way through, getting a good edge on there. We want to make sure that we don't get too much on the bottom, but our mink oil protects it. We do want to get those sides a little bit more with it. But overall, we're getting most of our edges done. I'm going to clean up the top here, and then we'll get into cleaning up our edges really quick. And this kind of gives it a one-sided one-sided pattern. We're gonna darken those edges just a touch. And those ends just a touch, just to make it look like it's worn and used. Not bad. You'll see that everything cleans up really well. So there's almost no smudges on the back there. What we want to do is we want to make sure the rest of our spot is clear. Now we're going to do a light Resolene. Make sure my hands are clean for this. Resolene does a number of different things, but it lightens some of those areas, gives it a more uniform look, lets it kind of be a natural coloration. Just checking to see how we're doing that back there. All right, get the cap back on the Resolene, and as you can see, this is a very quick process. One more here. Now this is going to be our dye applicator. And as you can see, Saddle Tan, that's it. That's all we're using. Almost none. And that's going to be, oh man, look at that color. It's going to be great. Flip it around here. Kind of match up that edge. Be a little darker. As you can tell, I'm not holding on to it because I'm not wearing gloves. And that gets us to the color we want. Nice dark Saddle Tan. Okay, we can move our leather back and come back in with the Resolene. I'm gonna flip over to a clean edge here. And this will give us the shine we're looking for. Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous, and kind of that campfire look we're going for. Okay, now with that finished, we're going to apply our Tokonole to the edges. And we're going to get our handy dandy canvas here. Now this is a slightly thinner piece of the leather that we're using. It's the same shoulder, half shoulder that I've had. And so it really gives us good edging. And you can tell that it's finished because the edge is smooth here. Once you get it around there, just want a little bit. You'll see I'm using my fingers, the applicator for the Tokonole, and that's okay. It works out. And there's almost a little pop when you're doing this. Now it's funny, this thing is a little bit moist, and that's specifically because the mink oil has given it a little bit of flavor back over there. So, all right. And this goes right up to there, and that's our final edge. And you'll notice I only had to dip one time in there to get the full edge of that completely done. Now I have to eat my words immediately and reapply. It's not quite to the smoothness that I want. And look at that. That is going to be an absolutely gorgeous rocker by the time we're done. It's almost got a burned quality to it. It's really light on that side, and it looks great. All right, wipe off our excess here. Get our lid on the Tokonole. And I'm going to do a couple extra things today. I'm going to be using this to give us a nice groove. And this is going to lighten, it's going to bring a lightened quality to this, which I love the idea of this. And I'm going to do something that I wouldn't normally do, going straight off the end. There we go. And it's curves slightly. That's okay. The ends are going to be covered, well, that end specifically is going to be covered by our Morgan $50. Sometimes you got to clear this thing out because it gets a little bogged down. And look at that. Absolutely beautiful. And it's still got everything in there. And what I'm going to do, just to make sure that we are fully protected here, is I'm going to Resolene over this to seal those grooves. And that's just one last layer of Resolene that lets us kind of hold this whole thing together. It slightly darkens as well, but it gives us a beautiful line. And that is a finished rocker. Well, I say finished. It is finished when it comes to the stain portion of this. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get our other rocker here, where I have our Morgan $50 ready. There we go. And I'm just going to center this over the end here. Figure out what looks best. And I'm going to press this in. Okay. There we go. And that is going to give us the hole for our largest punch. And we just want to slide it right over there exactly. Almost. And then we hold these ends together. Didn't even look at this part before. Oh yeah, that is a gorgeous rocker. Flip that over and out. Go to this side. Double check our hole. All right. And that is literally perfect. There. Okay. So we're going to get our our Morgan $half seated there. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit for you so you can see it. There we go. I'm gonna get both ends here. And get this one up there. It comes over the edge slightly, but I'm not worried about that. Get our Chicago screw in there for the concho, and then we tighten. And tighten to the middle, and voila, it is a beautiful lantern oak pipe rocker. Lantern oak Morgan $half. And wow, look at that, holds it beautifully. Even has a bit of grip on there, and that will solve itself, and you have to push it to knock it over. That is a beautiful pipe rocker. Just remember, adventure through dependability. Thank you.